Hey gamers, this is Liz Davidson from Beyond Solitaire, and today I want to show you how to solo Rescue Polar Bears, a game about saving polar bears and collecting data about global warming. So just for clarification, there actually was an earlier version of this game that was just called Rescue Polar Bears. This is Rescue Polar Bears Data and Temperature, which is the updated version. So I'm going to take y'all through a really quick tour of setup for this game. So as you get going, you're going to put these helicopter base tiles at the top and the bottom. These are where we are going to put helicopters that will rescue polar bears that have fallen into the water, and where we're going to drop off polar bears that we've rescued. And then you place out all of the tiles for the game face down, so you get a randomized map for each time you play. You can leave out these 4 ice float tiles. These basically make the game a little bit harder for when you are ready to increase the level of challenge, but we're just going to play basic game this time. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip these over to show what our map will look like this game. All right, so here's our map. What we're actually going to do is we're going to pull up all these little water tiles. We don't need them anymore. They just tell us where not to put things in the game. And we're going to put a flag right here in the middle because some of the pieces in the game are placed in relation to the center, so the flag is a visual reminder of where you are at. So our islands, our little ice flows here are set up. So why don't we put some bears out? So there's actually a chart on the rulebook that helps you figure out where to place your bears. So basically, according to the color on each of the tiles, you'll know how many male, female, and baby bears to place, and it'll also tell you the numbers that should be left over in your supply when you're done placing them out, which I actually think is really useful because it helps you catch if you've missed something. So as you can see, these tiles all have different little colors, and so we're going to place bears according to the rules in that chart. All right, so here are all of our bears placed out on the map. Also, aren't they so cute? Here, I'll move the baby bear up close so you can just admire the adorableness for a second there. They're adorable. Oh my goodness. So we'll put him back with his mom. So some of these tiles have only baby bears. Some of them have a mother and a child bear, and some have a couple, and some have a family of 3. So as we go through this game, the bears are going to procreate, and they're going to basically start filling up their living space, which is going to get smaller as the game goes on because the ice caps are melting. So it matters when there is a male and a female bear on the same tile because they're going to have bear cubs, and we don't know if we're going to be able to fit them on the tiles that we're going to have available. So basically there is a 3 bear limit per tile, and every couple is going to have 2 bear cubs. So for example, if these parents reproduce, they're going to have 2 babies that have to move because they can't stay here. So we're going to have some very tight population control drama going on before very long in this game. So now I'm going to show you 2 things I've added to our map. The first is I've put some upgrade tokens down here. So here's where we actually get to talking about victory. We will win this game because we're going to play with 2 boats by getting to 15 data tokens about climate change. So basically we're collecting data about climate change in order to convince the world that this is a real problem. And if we can collect 15 points of data, then we will win the game. However, we will lose the game by losing polar bears. So we also have to keep an eye on them and help rescue them, because if we get to a point where we can't save polar bears, we lose. So the win condition is to get to 15 data points. We lose if we lose all of our helicopters. So there's 3 helicopters that I've put on this base, 3 helicopters that I've put on this one. The other way to lose the game, so if we run out of helicopters and we have to save a bear and cannot, then we lose. The other way to lose is if the temperature is above 20 at the start of a turn. So at that point you get these like sad little drowning polar bears because they don't have anywhere to go anymore, which is adorable but tragic. Speaking of data, it's time to put out our first data token. We're going to figure out where they go based on these cards. So we've created a deck. The cards with this back are going to give you some data token locations. And we're going to flip over our very first one. All right, so the way these cards work is that we know that we need to place a data token here in relation to the center of the board, which is what that flag is good for. So we're going to put our first token here. One of the interesting things about data tokens is we only have limited actions per turn. So I have to take an action to pick a data token up off of an ice flow. But if I end my movement on it in the water, I can pick it up automatically. So there's some strategic benefits to having a data token on the water instead of on land. We're also going to set up one more deck of support cards. So we're going to put them up here. Basically, if we can end our movement on these little support token flows things. So the other deck we're going to put up is the support cards. You can get support by ending your movement on one of these little spaces with a buoy on it. So when you do that, you pick it up and you pick up one of these cards. You do have to resolve it immediately. You can't save it forever, but it will be very useful. I promise you that. All right, so as you can see, I've put some of these little green alert tokens up here. We're going to be flipping these to determine some of our threshold temperatures and which of these ice flows is going to be in danger of melting from turn to turn. So let's flip one. So our first number is going to be 13. We are going to put the starting temperature on 8 because that's where it starts. And then once the temperature rises and hits 13, 13 is the ice flow that's going to break. So we are going to put a little warning token right here so that it's easier for us to spot which ice flow is going to disappear the fastest. You may notice also that we've set out some boats. So I just randomly drew a couple of boats. This is the Breeze Dragon. So here's its card. So the Breeze Dragon is basically a pretty balanced boat. I have room for 2 bears. My speed is going to be 3, so my capacity for bears is going to be 2, which is marked here. And then if I manage to get some upgrades for this boat, I'm going to be able to get extra actions per turn. So this boat only can take 3 actions like every other boat at the start, but it's going to be able to take more down the line. All these little symbols are telling you what your options are on a given turn. So during my action phase, I can move. I can pick up a polar bear or a data token and put them on my boat. I can put all of the polar bears that I have on my boat onto a home base, or I can break through an ice flow and it will bring the temperature down by 2 degrees. And it can also open up some pathways if we're having some travel problems. So those are my options for actions on the Breeze Dragon. And here's the other boat that we'll be using, the Icy Cape. So the Icy Cape has all the same basic actions. However, it has a special action, which is that if I can take an action on a turn to put out 2 extra data tokens. Since we're racing to get those, it helps have more of them out. So that's potentially very, very helpful. My polar bear capacity is a starting capacity of 2. So my upgrades are great because this one will increase my capacity by 1 and my speed by 1. And here's a one-time action that'll let me get some extra helicopters. This boat's actually very, very helpful. So now it's time to start walking through some turns. I'm going to just take you through some turns and talk you through all of the steps of one as we go. So it's the Breeze Dragon's going to go first. I have 3 action tokens on here. And basically as I take actions, I'm going to hand them off to the Icy Cape to keep track of how many actions I've taken. So the first thing I'm going to do is move. My moving capacity is actually 3, but I'm not going to move 3, I'm going to move 2. So I'm going to go 1, 2, and I'm going to stop here, which means I'm going to get a support card. So we're going to go ahead and pull this tile up, and we are going to draw a support card and see what it does. So support card. So we have risk resolved temporarily. Move the temperature token down by 4. That is fantastic. So we are actually going to get to drop the temperature a little bit on this map. So down 1, 2, 3, 4. Excellent. That means that we have more turns before we hit 13 and we start losing ice caps. I think what I'm going to do next is I'm going to take some actions that are going to reduce the odds of polar bear overpopulation. I'm going to use 1 action to take this bear. And I'm going to use my other one to take this papa bear. So we are getting some male bears off of these tiles so that when we hit our breeding phase, we're less likely to have overflow, especially because if these couples reproduce, they will overflow the ice cap that they're on. So now my actions are done and we have to enter the growth and reproductive phase. That's where the polar bears try to make more polar bears. I feel like my grandma, I don't want them to. All right, so I rolled a 3. So let's see what's going on tile number 3. So here's number 3. We just have a little baby right here. So if we had a male and female pair, they would have cubs. If we have a baby, the baby's going to grow up. So this little bear cub's going to grow up so basically the way this works is if you have the option, you have to put 1 male and 1 female adult bear on a tile before you can start choosing gender, but there's only 1 cub here. So I'm just going to make her grow into a mama bear. However, we're still going to get punished a little bit because there are only female bears on this tile. When, after replacing all bear cubs with adult bears, there are only male bears or only female bears in the tile when growing, we have to add one to this temperature die that we're about to roll. So that kind of stinks. But let's roll it and see what we get. Oh God, so I rolled a 4. And we're gonna go up 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and then 5 for the one that we had to add. The good news is that because the ice flow that's currently in danger is 13, nothing's gonna happen right now. So we have at least one more turn to kind of make some progress before we start losing some ice tiles. So that was one complete turn. We've done our movements, we rolled the reproduction die, and we rolled temperature die. Now it's going to be the Icy Cape's turn to do something. So I think the first action that we're going to take is we're going to go ahead and use our special action and put out 2 more data tokens. Because the more data we can get, the better off we're going to be. So data token number 1 is going to be right here. So we'll put a token right up here under our little helipad. And then data token number 2 is going to go right above the center. Right here. So now we have 2 actions left for the Icy Cape. I could come up here, but I'm actually going to send a Breeze Dragon up this way. So I think what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to pop down here. 1, 2, 3. So that was action number 2. And we're going to go ahead and pick up our first data token with action number 3. So we're going to put it here. Once we hit 3 data tokens, we can start. So we're going to put it here. This is where data tokens go. Once we hit 3, we're going to be able to upgrade one of our boats, which will be fantastic. So now that Icy Cape has done everything that it can do, it's time for the Icy Cape to roll the reproductive die. All right, so we have rolled a 2. Where is tile number 2? Okay, so it's right here. So once again, this bear is going to grow up. Let's go ahead and put a mama bear here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to still have to add 1 to our temperature die because there's only 1 gender of bear on this tile. So let's roll our temperature die. Oh God, so we rolled a 5. This is the worst. I'm a bad roller, what can I say? So we're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh no, so as you can see, we have gone up above 13. What that means is that this 13 data token is I'm just gonna flip it and keep it here so we know that we've lost this tile to keep track of the game. So this tile is going to melt, and that means that we have to send our bears in various directions. So what we're going to do is we can actually just send these 2 here. This tile will break. So the thing that's actually kind of good about tiles breaking is that that's going to lower the temperature by 4, 13, 12, 11, 10. So we brought our temperature back down a little bit at least. But now that we've lost a tile, we have to figure out where our next alert token is going to go. So we're going to draw another one of these. Oh, so this time it's 19. There are good things and bad about that. So we have a little bit of time bought, but it also means the temperature is going to get pretty high. So we'll see how it works for us. Because remember, you lose the game if you end a turn with the temperature above 20 degrees. So we do not want to have a problem. So our next in danger tile is going to be over here. The good news is that currently if the cap melts, so these bears are going to be able to move to other tiles. They're going to be okay. But that's not always the case. If it had been 16, we'd be having a huge overcrowding problem right now. So now the Icy Cape is gone and we're back to the Breeze Dragon. So as you can see, this game has a pretty nice flow. You never feel like you can do enough on a given turn, but you can always do something and it goes pretty quickly. So as the Breeze Dragon, here's what I think I'm going to do. I'm going to make 1 move. So now that I'm landing here, I'm going to pick up this data token. So now we're at 2 data tokens. And then I'm going to activate the support tile. Draw a card and see what we get. So the card we received says all other players receive 1 extra action token for their next turn, 2 extra actions in a 2-player game. So that means that our friend, the Icy Cape over here, is going to have 2 extra action tokens. That is fantastic. They'll be able to get some more extra stuff done on this upcoming turn. So for now, I have 2 moves left. So I'm going to come up here. 1, 2, 3. I will automatically pick up a data token from that. And we're going to get an upgrade. So that was move number 2. So as you can see, we've hit 3 data tokens, and what that means is that I was able to pull this upgrade token from this spot. Now we get to choose which of my boats to upgrade. So I have good options on either boat. So if I upgrade the Breeze Dragon, I'm going to start getting 1 extra action for a turn with that boat, which is very powerful. If I upgrade the Icy Cape, then I'm going to get 1 extra speed and 1 extra polar bear capacity. So instead of being at 3 speed with 2 capacity, it's going to become 4 speed with 3 capacity, which is also excellent. Ooh. So I think what I'm going to do though is I'm going to take the extra action. So I'm going to get an extra action token that's specially for the Breeze Dragon. So that's awesome. All right, so now that I've picked up the last data token on the board, I am going to need to put another one out. So we'll draw a card to tell us where. All right, so we're gonna put a data token right here. And now I get to take actually 2 more actions because my upgrade will allow that. So I'm going to take 1 action to put both of my bears onto our home base up here. In other words, they're just going to go back at the supply. So now my boat is empty and can take on more bears. And then I think I'm going to use action number 4 to pick up another bear. So let's pick up, we've got some dads in the supply, but we don't have any moms. And I don't want to end up accidentally having problems with the temperature die. In this case, let's go ahead and take the mom. And so we're going to put her on our boat. So that was a very successful turn for me. Now let's roll the love die and see what these bears are going to get up to. All right, so this time we've rolled a 4. All right, so tile number 4 is right here. So this bear is going to grow up. Sorry, boat. And let's say that he's going to grow up into a male bear, because that's what we've got on the supply right now. And again, we're going to have to add 1 to our temperature die because there's only male bears on that tile. So we rolled a 3, but it's actually a 4. So we're going to go 1, 2, 3, 4. No tiles are going to break this turn because we haven't hit 19 yet, but it's inevitable. So now we're back to the Icy Cape. The Icy Cape is going to have a big turn because we got those 2 extra action tokens from the support card that we drew last turn when the Breeze Dragon was going. So I'm going to get to do 5 things with that boat this turn. Let's figure out how to make the most of it. So I think the first thing I need to do is put out some more data tokens because this one's over here and we've got to collect data in order to win this game. So let's put out 2. So we're going to put 1 over here. So here's a data token right by me. That's convenient. All right, we'll draw for our second data token. Oh, that's awesome. So that's actually going to go right here. That worked out really, really well. So I think what the natural thing to do for me is going to be is to spend 2 more actions. So that was our freebie. This one will go here to pick up each of these data tokens. That was awesome. So as you can see, we're going to put 4 and 5 out, and that puts us at a third of the way to winning the game. And also 1 more data token from now, we're going to be able to get an upgrade, which seems pretty cool to me. All right, so the Breeze Dragon can do 2 more things this turn. Okay, so I think what we're going to do is let's go ahead and, yeah, let's move 3. So that's a movement. And then let's go ahead and pick up a bear. So in order to prevent any, action from happening on tile 15, let's go ahead and pick up a mommy bear and put it on our boat. For some reason, by the way, bears on your boat does not threaten your life. Let's just assume they're really safe and cuddly, just the way they look. So that was my last action. And now we're gonna roll the reproduction die, the love die. All right, so this time we hit 9. What's going on tile 9? Love potion number 9. Okay, so what's going to happen here is that this baby bear is going to grow up into a papa bear. So they're not going to breed yet, and we don't have to add anything to the temperature die because now there's 1 male and 1 female bear on this tile. So next time we roll a 9, they're going to make babies. All right, so let's roll the temperature die and see what we get. 4. Yikes. So 1, 2, 3, 4. We are definitely going to have some ice break next turn. So all the bears that are on tile number 19 are probably going to be moving pretty soon. All right, so in the interest of time, we're going to stop playing there, but that was Rescue Polar Bears. It is a very enjoyable game, both solo and co-op. It may even be more fun co-op because you have friends to get excited with as you try to rescue the bears. But either way, it's good, cooperative, tight gameplay, unusual theme, and really great production values. I recommend this one. Happy gaming!